Ibn Rochd University Hospital in Casablanca is one of the largest hospitals in North Africa. Thousands of staff, thousands of patients, a building that never really sleeps. But according to people who have worked there at night, there is one floor where nurses do not like being posted alone. This story came from a senior nurse named Fatima. She told it to a colleague. The colleague passed it on. Fatima has never spoken about it publicly, and she says she never will. She had worked nights at Ibn Rochd for 11 years. By all accounts, she was calm, experienced, and very difficult to shake. She had seen death. She had seen trauma. She was the nurse younger staff went to when they were overwhelmed. Nothing had ever seriously frightened her until the winter of 2021. One Tuesday night, a man was admitted to her ward. He was around 40, a construction worker from outside Casablanca. He had collapsed at a work site with no clear injury. Scans showed nothing. Blood work showed nothing. He was awake but not responding. His eyes were open. He tracked movement, but he did not speak, react to his name, or respond properly even when examined. The doctors could not explain it. They wrote it down as neurological, possible seizure event, observation required. Fatima was assigned to check on him every hour that night. At 11 p.m., he was lying still, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. She checked his vitals, adjusted the drip, and left. At midnight, he was in the same position, but this time, the room felt cold. Not hospital air conditioning cold, just wrong. She noted it and left. At 1 a.m., she returned. He was sitting upright in bed, perfectly upright. The back of the bed had not been raised. No one had been in the room. He was just sitting there, spine straight, hands flat on his thighs, eyes fixed ahead. Fatima said his name. No response. She stepped closer. Later, she said the feeling that came over her was not exactly fear. It was the feeling of realizing that something was looking at her through him. His lips moved, and in a voice she said was too low, too controlled, and somehow too deliberate, he said, "You have been coming in here every hour. I have been watching you for 11 years. Fatima did not scream. She backed out of the room, closed the door, and called the head of the ward. By 2 a.m., 6 members of staff were standing outside that room. The man was speaking continuously. Not Arabic, not Daria, not French. No one recognized the language. One doctor pressed his ear to the door and said it sounded like the same phrase repeated over and over, but at different speeds. Sometimes slow, sometimes so fast it blurred into one sound. The patient's family was called. His mother arrived around 3 a.m. She listened outside the door for less than a minute, then turned to the staff and said quietly, "This happened to his grandfather. Same month, same age." Then she asked for a shake. Officially, the hospital did not deal with things like that. Unofficially, someone made the call. The sheikh arrived before dawn, an older man. He went into the room alone and shut the door behind him. For the next 40 minutes, the staff waited in the corridor. They heard the sheikh reciting steadily, the same verses again and again. And under it, in the patient's voice, something answering him. It argued, it complained. At one point, it laughed. Fatima later said that was the worst part. Not because it was loud, because it sounded completely flat. No joy, no emotion, nothing human in it. Then everything went quiet. A few seconds later, the patient screamed. One single scream in his own voice. Then silence. When the sheikh opened the door, the man was lying flat on the bed, unconscious, breathing normally. The room was warm again. The color had returned to his face. Before leaving, the sheikh told the staff the man had disturbed something at the worksite. They had been building on old ground. And sometimes, he said, when people dig in places that were claimed long before them, something follows them back. By morning, the patient was stable. 3 days later, he was discharged. His file listed the event as a neurological episode of undetermined origin. No other explanation was recorded. The following week, Fatima asked to be transferred to another ward. Her supervisor approved it without asking why. Before she stopped talking about the incident completely, she told one colleague one final thing. She said, "What stayed with me was not what it did. It was what it said. 11 years. If it had been watching me for 11 years, then it was there long before that man came in. It was already in that building. We just never knew what to look for." Ibn Rochd Hospital is still there, still full, still busy, still running through the night. And according to some of the people who work there after dark, there is still one floor where nobody likes being left alone, because some things do not arrive with the patient. Some things were already there,